Welcome everyone to the first episode of The Rugged Edge presented by Getac. I'm Ann Plaza, the marketing manager here at Getac and your host. We're kicking things off with a deep dive into one of our biggest strengths, which is customization. From underground work sites to military operations, every industry has unique needs. And we here at Getac build rugged solutions to match. I am joined today by our colleagues from three key teams here at Getac who play a crucial role in bringing our customization projects to life. And welcome to the show. Welcome. So let's go around and have each of you briefly introduce yourselves and share a little bit about what you do at Getac, specifically what you do for customization. So maybe we can start with Frank.
Thanks, Anna. I'm Frank Baldrighi. I'm Enterprise Business Development Manager at Getac, and I work closely with large organizations in utilities, defense, oil and gas, and automotive. And my role is to understand operational challenges and understand how Getac can match the requirement with a rugged computing solution to boost productivity and reliability in harsh environments.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you for joining us. Let's maybe head over to Fiona.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Fiona. I'm a project manager from Customer Success Department. As a coordinator, I consolidate internal resources to up our win rate. We have 5-step process in our team. So first of all, we consolidate internal resources such as sector solution, ESG documents, and ISO compliance certification to make sure that Getac proposal to customer is most impressive to customers. Also, we consider both customer requirements and manufacturing aspect to ensure the overall process is efficient. For example, we work on cost optimization, and we also evaluate certification compliance to ensure global deployment is smooth.
Thank you, Fiona. Sounds like a lot of hard work coming into your team. Last but not the least, Jimmy.
Hey, hi. Thank you for having me. I'm Jimmy. I'm project manager of our customization team. I'm handling the customization request from the new to become a real product. So the customer can order our product and ship without issues.
First question to Frank and Jimmy about how customization started in Getac. So what do you think, was there a specific turning point in the customer, when they talk to you or when you reach out to customers? Has that change in the customer need pushed the business to take up customization? What are your thoughts about that?
So at Getac, we change approach. And we started listening to customer closely, partnering with customers, understanding the challenges and act as a solution provider. So rather than just offering off-the-shelf solution, or rather than just offering ready products, but we started addressing issues from customers. So we saw that customers were just using off-the-shelf solution and trying to change their workflow in line with the solution. We changed the approach in saying, okay, we just want to adjust the solution to meet the requirement rather than the other way around. And so we started tailoring hardware, software, accessories to be able to provide a complete solution meeting their requirements.
Sounds great. What about you, Jimmy? What's your take on that?
Honestly, when I first joined the team, so we already start doing the customization. And what I can see is the requirements getting more and more.
Right.
Since in this industry, everyone have their own scenarios. So single configuration or features cannot meet everyone's requests. So from the point of view, we're just seeing the more and more requests. But I believe the reason why probably we need to ask our front-end sales to know why they can all get more. For us, we're just taking requests.
Right. So you get those questions from Frank, right? You guys work together very closely. So Frank, you talk to the customer and you bring those questions to
Yes,
Jimmy's team.
we start from pretty much operational challenges. We start from pain points, customer pain points, and leverage our internal resources design resources, manufacturing capabilities to be able to provide a solution.
And with that said, do you also talk to Jimmy's team to like ask them, this is the customer pain point. Do we have the capability to actually solve this pain point?
Yes, exactly. I mean, everything starts with a study, a feasibility study, and the team is typically as an approach where they would provide multiple alternatives and solution. So my role is to interface with the customer, and it's pretty much a teamwork where we need to get constant feedback on one end on the other, okay, and make sure that the scope and the requirement is clear from the very beginning throughout the whole project, so that along the way we're focused on a clear solution.
So, Jimmy, with regards to fulfilling what Frank said, he said about feasibility studies. So,
Right.
how do you assess like whether a specific customer request is something that your team can handle?
Basically, we got a system. First of all, we will clarify with the Frank to see what's in the request and do they really need this? What's the scenario? What's the reason behind that? So once we clarify those requests, then we will convey those information to our engineering team to come up with a solution. So once the solution, we will provide a proposal to Frank, so he can present to the customer to see if they fit that request.
So you need to say you get more requests. So does that also mean to say, Frank, that there's really a strong need for more customized solutions that standard devices do not necessarily fulfill?
Yes, we are seeing more demand than ever, I need to say, for a reason that I think is in sectors like utilities, defense, automotive, organizations are finding more and more use cases. Digital transformation, going paperless, our technology is being used in harsh environment where in the past you wouldn't use any technology. But in using devices in harsh environment, many more requirements would come up that you are not able to address with a standard device or standard technology. Requirements such as rugged I/O ports or problems with connectivity where you need to have external high gain antennas. There are just few examples, or very special mounting solution for in-vehicle solution. So we are seeing that more and more.
I would say that getting more, that doesn't mean the request getting more and more complicated. Initially, maybe come from a certain vertical, like the military, that's our biggest customer, right? But recently we probably get more requests from other vertical, like utility and others. For example, probably they just need a Getac there to put on our device, since it's not a standard one. Every customer has different information we like to put on the tag. The request is not always be complicated. Sometimes it's very simple, but just standard cannot provide it, so they go for customization.
But I want to ask Frank about specific industry trends that you think are becoming more prevalent right now that are pushing customers towards more customized solutions. What are your thoughts about that?
I already mentioned digital transformation now, of course, but also AI and the availability of data in the organization and a way to collect data and manage and use this data to have strategic decision. Okay, so in the past we were just use technology in limited environments. Nowadays, this is pretty much happening throughout the organization, and also in harsh environment, you're expected to have relevant information collected and organized in a using technology, and so that's why you need to have devices that are reliable also in those environments.
So Jimmy, can you walk us through the process of doing customization requests for our customers? So from the moment Frank brings a customer pain point or a challenge to your team up until to final delivery, can you walk us through that process?
Okay, sure. Basically, we can divide the whole process into 6 stages. So the first stage, we just talk about we got a system. So when Frank got a request, he will issue a ticket in the system. So when we receive, we will clarify the request. Okay, and then once everything is done, then we will come back the request to team, engineering team. They will do an evaluation and provide a solution. Then we provide a solution to Frank, and I believe he will present the solution to a customer. So when they get customer approve the solution, and he said everything great, that's what I'm looking for, then we will start POC first.
POC meaning proof of concept.
Correct. Yes, but POC is very important for customer.
You mean POC meaning the actual device,
actual
like a
device.
sample that
Right.
they can hold and
That's correct.
test. And I see.
The purpose of a proof of concept is to let a customer understand what they're gonna receive,
Right.
what it will look like, and how does it feel. Sometimes the mechanical part, so it didn't feel what it look like. So, and why it's important to know. Right now, we got a example. The customer they would like to set the budget. So they say, okay, we totally fine. We don't need the POC. We are okay with just a proposal. So it turns out when they receive the device, it just cannot meet their request for some reason. Once the customer has a POC, they need to test it, and sometimes it's just not in the one department because the device will be used for there are many staff in the different unit, so everyone should need to test it. So once we get confirmation, then we will go to the next stage, which is the validation stage. Okay, so for validation, then we will conduct a test based on the customized items. For example, if that's they just request about the software, then we will not conduct the features other than software. I see. We don't need to do a job test, environment test, high low temperature. So this kind of dynamic and very flexible. So once it's done, then I would say that's it's okay, fine with mass production. So basically that's the whole process.
Now, how long is this process from Frank bringing you the challenge until actual mass production?
Good question. They can be very short to except to very long.
What's the shortest?
Shortest basically is related to a software. So actually,
Only software.
right, pure software. So for pure software, we still need to provide POC, but just the application software, so we can just send it to the customer directly.
So how long is that? It's just soft.
I would say 1 month.
Okay.
But it does depends. It depends on we don't know how long we need to clarify the issues, like a request. So maybe a month it doesn't count the period of clarification. And the longest one, I would say 3 months or longer, depends on what modification. So usually the customization project takes 3 months. They will include the hardware change and the housing changes.
I see.
Right. And sometimes they're longer because some customer they will require a certain certificate. Right?
Especially like military, right?
Right, the military. So some kind of military test, it will take 6 months, 9 months. That depends.
So that period of the customization period is separate from the certification,
Right.
or do you include that timeline?
So the 3 months I will put what I will include certificates since it will be vary.
Yeah, because it needs to, before you deploy, it needs to meet the certification.
Right.
So yeah, because we were talking about hardware, software, like how flexible is Getac when it comes to customizing hardware and hardware and software?
How flexible I would put it that way. So for the connection, that's there's many great requests from different customers, right? So I would put it major four category. The basic one is the software, then the hardware, and the mechanical, then the fourth is the certificates. So usually the request is among those four categories.
All right.
So software meaning it's very simple with BIOS setting, and also like Windows. Since we own the standard only provide a Windows 11, but sometimes the customer asks for IoT, Windows IoT. So that's it's outside of the standard configuration. Sometimes customer they ask for a certain module which is not inside our device. So we can integrate for the customer to our device. That's for the hardware, and also probably that with a request we need to modify the motherboard or some circuit board in our device. Okay, and for the mechanical part, since sometimes the module the customer would like us to integrate is kind of huge or bulky that cannot into in the current device. So we need to change the housing to make it larger or to extend some housing to put a module into the housing. So that's for the mechanical part. The first one that's something I just mentioned. So for the modification, usually we need to do some we call FCC or UN FCC certificates. That's for the goods import to a certain country. Then we need to pass those kind of certificate. So we are allowed to ship our device or sell our device to the countries. That's a basic certificate. But except that, also we can see that some just mentioned military certification. There's something outside of the basic certificates.
Want to ask this follow up to Frank. When you get requests, do we have like a limit, or do we have like a starting point? Like, we're gonna be working on a customization project if we get X amount of requests. Is that like a starting point to getting a project done?
So of course, my job is to collect information from the customer and understand also the scope and understand the dimension or to gather more information on the deployment. And of course, each project comes down to a budget and a timeline. Okay, so for some customization, Getac has the capability of delivering a solution, but then goes down to the project size and to the cost of the solution, if it's economically feasible and if it's justifiable to go for that customization. I need to say that our internal resources are great in providing alternatives, and often they would come up with alternatives. So rather than just focusing on the customization required by the customer, they would just try to understand the use case and try to achieve the same result with an alternative approach. Or sometimes we would leverage existing customization that we have already performed for other projects. This way we can reduce the time to market, we can lower the non-recurrent engineering cost, and we can find a positive solution for a customer in a shorter time frame. You were asking about flexibility, okay? And I need to say that the feedback I gathered from customers is that Getac has a great flexibility, given that, we are a global organization. We're not a niche manufacturer or a boutique manufacturer, but having in-house capabilities in terms of engineering and design and manufacturing, not relying on third party for our manufacturing, give us that flexibility on a small to medium scale production.
How does this conversation start with the customer? Is it them coming to you, or you noticing things and then you propose, for example, we can do a customization?
We do get inquiries from our existing customer, for new customer. Sometimes customer already a very specific requirement that would come to us asking for a device, rugged tablet or rugged laptop with a very specific I/O port or a very specific integrated RFID reader providing specification. In the past, we would just check our data sheet and confirm whether we can supply or not. Nowadays, as I was saying, Getac has changed the approach. So rather than just answering the question, we would try and understand why that specific reader is needed and whether or not we've got it straight away. But we would try to understand as many information as possible and gather better details on the requirement. One thing that I would also add is that this is a constant exchange between Jimmy's team, the sales team in the country, and the customer. It keeps changing. I mean, we keep discussing and making sure that customer requirements are met, not only in terms of technical requirements, but there is, again, budget is important, timeline. Okay, so we make sure that we're able to meet specific requirements in the timeline, specifically when it comes to certification, where there are third parties involved, third-party labs involved. We need to make sure that the customer is prepared to wait for a solution to be ready. But I need to say, usually we are pretty fast in providing a solution and a proof of concept.
Jimmy talked about the process of doing customization, and he set a very good foundation of how Getac has this mechanism to deal with specific customer needs. But I wanted to ask Frank, because I know you have an insight about like what sets Getac's customization process apart from what other competitors are doing. I know they're also doing customization, but what about our customization is different?
First of all, with Getac, when we talk about customization, it involves several different capabilities. It's not only about software, but it's also about hardware, mechanical, certification, and even accessories. So it's really wide, the kind of customization capabilities that we can offer. And this is thanks to our internal resources, our capabilities in terms of design and also manufacturing, since everything is managed in-house. So talking with customer every single day, they would feedback and I would provide a positive feedback on the possibility with Getac to access our resources either directly or through the local rep, but they would have access to these capabilities pretty much directly. So you don't really it's easier to discuss project requirement, challenges, and have a prompt response, prompt feedback, and a solution provided in a short time frame, thanks to the fact that you don't have many layers. You have quite a
direct line to the team,
to the team. As I was saying, it's really a team effort. We share feedback constantly. So it's not that we provide a list of requirements and we just wait and sit down and wait for a solution, but there is a constant feedback and going back and forth between the team, all the different resources involved, and the customer, okay? Because often we wouldn't get it right the very first time. We would need to gather customer feedback, understand better what are the requirements, and reach the best solution possible.
I know Jimmy also mentioned about the time frame, like shortest being a month, longest being 3 months, but I don't think that's as simple as that, right? What do you think?
No, exactly. Of course, with hardware customization might take longer rather than software, but it's really important to underline how reactive is the team. First of all, the team would be able to adjust the design and offer a different proposal to fit the customer expectation, to meet the customer expectation in terms of deadline, and offer alternative able to meet requirement in terms of budget and timing. But then also once the process is engaged, once we have completed the feasibility study, everything would progress pretty much smoothly. We would have a constant feedback, and we will have weekly meetings with Jimmy's team to make sure that the process is on track.
Since we have 3 teams in this conversation, and I'm curious about Fiona's take. Like, given the mechanism that we've heard from these two gentlemen, like how do you also collaborate with other teams?
Customer success team operate under global value chain centers. We watch the project from the beginning to the end. So at the beginning, we will hear the IFI information from our sales team, like Frank's team, and then we will review those IFI requirements and consolidate internal resources. So from customization team or standard product team or ESG team to ensure that we have a good proposal from Getac to show our customer. We will deliver the proposal to sales team, so sales team can use the proposal from headquarters to show the customer worldwide. So that's from beginning. And after Jimmy designed the product, there are some customization parts. A lot of customization parts is very new. It's new to Getac, so we need to source the material. So we work with procurement team to make sure we have a cost efficient customization part and the optimal lead time. So the customer can have the POC in time and have mass production in time.
So guys, I want to ask a question on whether you can share a specific example of a use case wherein a customized solution really helped the customer. Frank, you have anything to share?
Sure, and a project I would mention is Lean Line docking station, vehicle docking station that we've been working on for a customer. Customer had a challenge of fitting a vehicle docking station inside a truck where they had already plenty of technology and other components. And they wanted to install a dock with a Getac rugged tablet and be able not to interfere with any airbag, radio, or security equipment. So they came to us asking if it is possible to have the same kind of ruggedness and safety, but just having a smaller footprint and also adding additional feature. They wanted a future-proof solution, and so they were asking to have an Ethernet port, a LAN connection that wasn't available on the standard docking station. And they also wanted to leverage existing bracket that they had in the vehicle, so just to minimize the efforts involved with the new installation. Getac did that. We did a redesign of both the electronics and the mechanical component, and were able to have a solution and have a proof of concept in a shorter time frame by leveraging 3D printed samples and get customer feedback. We had to go back and forth. We had 3 takes of the same design following end user feedback. We had but just the design, and then we finalized the final draft and proceeded to mass production.
I think Fiona has something to share as well. Can you talk more about this?
Yes, for the real world solution that really help customers in their daily operation. One of the case is in full production line. The end user use F1 110 and US 10 with a stylus in full production line, and they're concerned that if any parts breaks off, may contaminate the tool. It's risky. So Getac designed the stylus to make it metal detectable. In this way, they can detect the stylus and remove it in case if any part fall into the food. So to eliminate the risk in totally. Okay. That's one of the case in manufacturing food production.
Fiona, we're talking about customer success. Regarding deploying this customized device, what kind of support the customer receives after delivery or deployment?
From customer success perspective, we understand that customers stick with a solution for a very long time. So one of Getac's top priority is to make our solution durable. So for retained customer, we will drive seamless product migration to ensure that the new platform fit well to customers' operating environment. That's the first thing. And the second thing is we secure key component, also the customization parts. So we also secure key component to support a long and stable product life cycle. with strategic procurement material management that align with precise demand forecast from sales team. It is not only for the product itself or for the long life product cycle, but also in terms of post-service. So Getac will ensure the device can be repaired after 2 years after warranty. And we also need to ensure we have efficient turnaround time for service part replacement. That's one part of support from Getac. And I think from Jimmy's team, they also have a different perspective for.
Okay, so for our customization teams, we not just take care about the customization request. For the post service, we also take care about the post technical issues. So for example, when customer receive device that they use for a while and then turns out there's some function that work. So they will report to Frank or our FAE. So when they receive, they will also, I mentioned that we got a system, so they will issue a ticket. It's not convention, it's a technical issue ticket. Okay. We have a whole customization engineer team to handle those tickets. So that's something like of what we're doing the customization. They will also clarify the issues. So where did you see that how many devices have the same issue and how we can reproduce the issue? Okay, something like that. So to clarify and so try to reproduce here.
Nice.
And to find the root cause of the issues and provide the solutions.
So there's a common belief that customization could be too costly for customers. So I want to ask you, Fiona, how would you respond to this myth about it being too costly or complicated for a customer?
Yes, we can see costs from different perspectives. I will come from a global value transcender. I represent customer success team, but actually I operate under global value transcender. So we also have strategic procurement team and service team.
Right.
So I will share why it is cost, but cost can be optimized and the material can also be prepared in time to meet customer timeline. For example, the procurement team don't know the sales demand. So our team need to work with sales team so we know the real demand and how many material we need to drop order to our supplier. So that's the supply chain management is really important. And we also do strategic procurement. So we will ensure the key parts and customized parts is cost efficient and can be delivered in time to our factory for assembly and for delivery to customer.
It helps me understand, like, it's not just a question of cost. There's a lot of things involved before you can actually, of course, fulfill the customer requirement in terms of like cost, right? It's not just as simple as that. So thank you for that insight.
And I think on Jimmy's team, you have different perspective, right?
That depends, So no matter what the base and the quantity the customer may purchase, for ours, no, we need to spend the same effort.
You spend the same effort regardless of quantity requests.
Right. So that's because we need to do based on request. If they need to make a new tuning for housing, no matter requestability or 10,000, we do need the cost on the tuning. We are not making money on this one. We are making money to sales our device. So I believe that the customer need to understand we are not like I say, we are not make money on the NRE on the part. We do understand some customer they are not that sell on this small business. They put it away, small business. So the request may be a little small compared to other region or like American. So we have come up some solution like recently we called a standard customization. What we do, we collect the requests from different customer or some request is frequently asked. So we collect those information and then we discuss and to create we just do it ourselves. We are not waiting for customer for request. On certain models, we will do the customization. So it will become a ready product for the customers. For example, we frequently the military connector on our 600. That's the many customer ask for that. So we just introduce to because Sender don't have a filament connector, so we make it to MP to mass production, and we advertise those MIE to a certain amount of the device. So we are not charged for one person or one customer for all the cost. We would divide to advertise to probably 10 customers for 1,000 device. So each customer just need to pay a small amount of the OIE cost. So it will make it more affordable to our customers.
So it's you're talking. This is the standard customization.
They increase the customization.
So you mean to say if that request becomes more, you see it more often.
Right.
So then that becomes a standard customization so that you can present it to a customer. So if ever they're hesitant, I don't know, for cost related issues, then this is something that you can provide to them.
Right.
It's something that they can also consider.
Right.
I would say that I deal with customers every day, and there is this idea that customization can be expensive, and there are high cost, big volumes, big minimum order quantity, and long living assembly. But this is just not true with Getac. So this is just an idea that often is at the very beginning, but as soon as we engage and we convince a customer to investigate, and we just do a feasibility study without any commitment for our customer, then they realize that any minimum order quantity or any cost involved is really reasonable. Then the other thing that they realize and notice is that the real cost of using a device that is not fit for purpose, the real cost of having a downtime because you are using a device that is not rugged enough, that means that the actual overall cost, the total cost of the solution is higher than they were expecting. So no, I would say that our experience is different. We are able and we welcome customers to go over their requirements, do this feasibility study, and see how we can offer a cost-effective solution for their problems.
To wrap things up, I want to ask everyone here, if there's one thing that you'd like people to remember about Getac's customization capabilities, what would that be?
We really listen to customer needs, just like we are in customer shoes.
No matter what the customization is, if you need it, we make it.
With Getac, we don't force user to adapt to a device or to a specific product. Even with the Getac standard rugged computing solution, we have one of the broadest range of solution in the market. And with this range, we can also do customization. So it's all about adapting to the user and not the other way around. And that's a totally different approach.
Doing whatever we can for the customer and also not just discounting the standard, but we really do show up for our customers regardless of what they request. And with that said, I want to thank everyone who participated and who are here in our first episode here at The Rugged Edge presented by Getac. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Now we have a better understanding of how we approach customization and why it matters. So to everyone who watched, thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want to learn more, visit getac.com or reach out to us directly. Until next time, see you on the next episode of The Rugged Edge.